Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to episode 4 of the new season. Of course, in this video, we're going to be going over, of course, the madness that was Charlton away on Tuesday, obviously getting our first win of the season. And then around 8:30, we're going to be joined by Tom from Under the Abbey Podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to them on all the podcast platforms, Apple, etc. So he's going to be coming on, giving his view, what signings they made, etc. Their start to the season. Ones to watch sort of thing. But yeah, if you're watching it back on the replay, don't forget to smash a like. And of course, if you're watching it live, don't forget to leave a like. If you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, then do hit the subscribe button. The support has been amazing, really. So thanks to everyone for that. Do subscribe. We're around 90 away from 6,500, which is crazy. So do subscribe. Of course, if you're watching it back on the replay, leave your lineup predictions, which I think is interesting for this week because a lot of players have been doing well at the moment. So leave your lineup predictions in the comments and leave your score predictions in the comments after when you are watching it back. But yeah, if you're watching it live, evening to everyone, evening to Jamie Stockley, evening to Josh Gray as well, up the gas. As always, get your questions in. If you do enjoy it, then hope you do share it as always. We're joined by Neil, as always. Evening, Neil. How's it going, mate?
What's happening, mate? You all right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. All good. Still buzzing off Tuesday night, to be fair. That was, some finish to a game. Before we do get going, I just want to get your thoughts on this is now our fifth game in overall, obviously fourth in the league. What's been your thoughts at the start of the season? Obviously, a really tough start, with Pompey, Barnsley and Charlton picking up 5 points. What's your thoughts on the start to the season?
Much like it was last week, really. I think the biggest thing to take from it is the steady progression. We've implemented something new. We've recruited for it, and we're sticking to our guns, and we're trying to play the way that has been implemented throughout the pre-season, throughout the training, what they've recruited for. And like I said, this time we're miles ahead of where we were this time last year. We're light years ahead of where we were this time last year as far as structure, putting things in place, and it paying off. We're so further down the track than what we were this time last year. It's all positive for me. It's all positive.
Yeah, I agree, and obviously recruitment as well. So far it's been really good as well, like you said. And yeah, I think the main thing is that we've obviously most of the signings we got in for pre-season, and we've already the style of play, etc. Recruitment players. Obviously, we've had quite a few injuries, but most of the first names on the team sheet players haven't really been injured. Obviously, it's mainly sort of been squad players, which is obviously still important because it's like we all know every time it's going to be a long season, and obviously you do need players that aren't even natural starters in and around the squad as well. But like you said, obviously we know it's all been good, but what's your thoughts on the recruitment? Are you really happy with that at the moment going into our fourth league game?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with any of it, really, can you? What we've seen so far of everything they've wanted to work on, what they've brought in to do, address the centre-half situation. That was a massive concern for us. We could see it from the back end of last season. That got addressed nice and early. Like, there's some clubs, talked about Charlton in the week, there's some clubs still addressing their recruitment well into the back end of August, and they'll be looking for loans, scratching around past that. We're all done. As far as the centre-half, I think we're all done. I don't think we'll be looking any further than what we've got. And it had been looked at, it had been assessed, and we went out and we acted on it nice and early and got embedded in as early as possible.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, looking really good. Even into Vaughan as well, as always, even into Kelly, Gasheads in Bolton, which is quality. Thanks for the continued support. Listening in, but need to finish off seeing to the Ferrets up the gas. Thanks for tuning in. Even into Nick Bads as well. Another centre midfielder and a striker. I'm wearing a real shout for a top 6 finish. Even into Blaze Ramble, shout out to him as well. Absolute class content creator, obviously by the name Sheffield United fan. Go and subscribe to him. He's unreal content. Evening lads, up the gas. Yeah, good to see you in here as well. And yeah, shout out to your channel, is going amazing. Go and subscribe to him. George saying, evening to you as well. If Vale is good as what Chelsea fans are saying, this could be a really great signing. Agree. Josh Gray just needed defensive midfielder and a striker. Obviously going over start to the season, like we said, all good. Recruitment's been good. Style of play. Like we said, we've bedded that in from pre-season, right at the start of pre-season. Obviously, the new signing, of course, the madness that was going on when Barton, announced it to his subscribers. And for me, I didn't want to do a video straight away. I wanted it to wait until it's done. But obviously, I didn't do a video in the end. I just done a few posts, etc., on socials about him. But like we said, he signed and was announced in the squad just before we started on Tuesday. Was sure. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit. Both of us don't really know a lot, but now it's done and over the line, a season long loan. What do you make of that signing?
I think it says a lot about how we're looking to play this season, as far as being top heavy at the front end of the pitch. Loads of width. We've got loads of volume as far as width in our squad now. That's obviously something that Joey wanted to go heavy on, because it's clear that we're going to go and look to play that way. We're going to look to press high, win it high, and also when we transition and let certain sides come onto us, break with pace and turn sides round as quickly as we can, from goalkeeper right through the middle of the pitch, minimal passes as quickly as can, turn them round with pace. And it looks like, Vale's made to do that, as far as what we've seen a glimpse of, as far as clips it, playing for Chelsea in his age group, and a little bit that we saw the other night. He's going to hug that touchline. He's going to come inside. He'll try and go on the outside. He'll try and get the ball in the box, and he'll try and get on the end of things at the back stick. So I just think it shows a little bit of intent of what we're looking to do as a side, and the way we're looking to play, and how top heavy we want to be at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, like I said, I didn't do a video, but yeah, my thoughts on it really obviously comes with good pedigree. Obviously last year it didn't work out at Hull, for whatever reason. I don't know, whether just didn't fit, the formation changed as soon as he joined or something like that. I don't really know. Obviously Leon Rossini is the manager there. They went to get him in on a season on loan, and he only made 3 appearances in all competitions. So, I've seen a few Hull fans saying, really poor, but, what can you really do in 3 games, So, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one there, but I think, yeah, it says a lot when, he's come to Rovers. Joey's managed and Wells managed to get him here, and the recruitment team. And yeah, looked all right. Didn't really have loads of time the other night, but yeah.
I think that's going to be the way, though. I don't think we're going to hang our hat on him to say you're going to be our out and out winger. He's there to basically bolster our squad, get experience, know what first team football is at a level over the course of a season. He'll be drip fed into games. He'll play Pizza Cup. He'll do bits and pieces off the bench here and there. But like I said, Hull fans are entitled to say what they want to say. They've seen him, etc. But I don't think he's going to be someone that we're going to hang our hat on and go, you're going to play week in, week out from the start, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, out wide for us. He ain't going to be that guy. We're blessed in that area. It is. I just think he's come in to basically bolster us, yes, improve us, give us a bit of depth. But he's not. I don't think he's going to start too many games. I just think we're so blessed out there.
Yeah, it's true. We have got, it is pretty crazy, going forward. And like you said, it'll come in, competition for places, which is really good. Blaze Ramble saying low risk signing as well. I think as well. And yeah, with like you said, the top heavy squad, we're going to be playing with, when you've got like him, Collins, Giovanni Brown, Luke Thomas, Marquis, it's pretty crazy. And then you bring him into the mix, Sinclair as well, who's had a really, good preseason and a good start to the season as well. So yeah, definitely that's our thoughts. Let us know in the comments as well. We got Jacob in, JCH and Bogard may as well give us the trophy. We'll see what happens with other signings. Deadlift plus life, even to you as well. I like the way we bonded as a team so quick. They all look like they physically can adapt to each game situation. Yeah, that's the thing I've liked to have this summer, that we've got a lot of our players in and we played the way we wanted to play straight off from pre-season. Like, me and you have said loads of times, especially the last few streams we've done, is that, it's night and day to what it was like last season when we were playing players out of position, etc., and starting slow. It's been good to get players in early and get that style of play and adapt to it really quickly, even into Elliot Davis as well. Even as I've been looking forward, that's great to hear. Vaughan saying, look what Joey Barton's done with the loan. Yeah, exactly. Loan players as well, even into Mats as well. Obviously, putting on it a bit of a another thing. We chatted about it a little bit last week. Thoughts on what's the situation with Belshaw, because obviously, we've seen that last week he didn't turn up to training. Obviously, Barton's come out and said about that he tried ringing up to try and ask to go out on loan. Then his agent rang up. It's not, as we've seen after when we scored, the most of the squad is, morale and obviously ethic, togetherness, etc. is looking amazing. But, that's to come out. Obviously, we don't know the proper ins and outs, but what are your thoughts going on about that and him coming out and saying that with his agent as well?
I mean, Joey will go in front of the press and he's our manager and he'll say what he wants to say about his team and his squad ultimately. I've only got Joey's side of the story. You never know. Like, Belly could have a completely different tale to what's come out. You just don't know. But it's pretty clear as day. Joey's gone out and got his number one, who he believes to be his number one. That's what he wants to go with. It's not the first time, whether it be at Rovers or at Fleetwood, Barton's been ruthless with his squad. And Belly just happens to be on the end of it. I think he did the same at Fleetwood with Carnes. I think he bombed him out. Yeah. He just felt I could. If we're going to get better, be it in League One as a getting closer to that top six, finishing in that top six, getting promoted at some point, players will get moved on. If you can't just keep people for sentimental reasons. Belly's done great for us. He's done great for us, considering where he's come from, what he's had to go through to, He was on the brink of nowhere at Harrogate. He's come in. He's budged Anstey out. He's worked. He played his best football when Tony Warner was coaching him. He was an adequate, fine goalkeeper last season in League One. And I think he will still be an adequate, fine goalkeeper for someone in League One. But I just think Joey's gone and or the football club have gone and found someone that suits what we want to do this season to get better. And if we're going to get better, we've got to wave people on and thank them for what they've done and let them go and play football elsewhere. And it might not sit right with a lot of players. Like, I don't think Harry Anderson wanted to go. I think he wanted to stay, but it's one of them things. We can't keep everyone for sentimental reasons, and we can't keep everyone because they're nice lads and they've done an okay job for us. We're not looking for okay. We want to get better and better, and people are going to get moved on every single summer and every single window at some point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like you said, it's, like you said, there's, I love Belly, as well. He was amazing to come on my channel as well. Even though the connection was a shambles, but, like you said, it's just what happens in football. I know, obviously, there'll be, as we've seen on socials already, people, angry, but you'll get that everywhere. If a player's been there a number of years and they get told to move on, it's just, like Steve said, it's just hard facts. And, like you said, we want to get better. We want to fight to get out of the league and get better, even into Rob as well. Thanks for tuning in, even into David Thatcher. Matt as well, also saying Barton took issue because Belshaw was asking on match days. Yeah, even stuff like that. It's, if that has happened, it's just wrong, man. Like you should just, obviously he'll be angry, of course, because he's got a keeper that's come in 12 years younger than him from a Premier League club, England under 20 international, and he's, it'd be best for him if he just tried to fight and for his place back and etc. But yeah, it is what it is. Like you said, there's no room for sentiment in football. Dead Life says, feel sorry for Belshaw. However, the manager picks the team and a real player would fight for his place and not cause issues. Agree. Nick saying it's shameless how it's ended. Yeah, I agree. Alfie Hill, thanks for tuning in as well. Thoughts on Vale? Yeah, we just went over it. Yeah, basically saying he's a good player. Learn his trade here. Hopefully, obviously fight for places, get better, and just improve with Rovers really. Obviously getting onto the game now. Winning 2-1, first 3 points of the season. Only 3 games in, but unbeaten, which is good. Thoughts on the lineup, first of all, that one change, Finley dropping out to be rested and Sinclair coming in, pretty attacking team. What did you make of it? What did you make of the team and the first half?
Lineup wise, I didn't mind it. My only real concern, my concern was Finley not being in there and Ward having to screen with Evans, because when Finley's in there, he sort of leads that screen like Coots did with him. Yeah. Finley now sort of leads that screen. When Roth's in there, he sort of leads it, and Roth pulls rank and sort of works alongside him. And then Ward was going to have to be that guy, and I've not seen him be sort of that dog that we've come to expect of sort of Finley, what we've had from Coots and Ross, but he was excellent. He was excellent in there, to be honest. I've never seen him play like that for us, to be honest, as far as off the ball, the work off the ball to go and get it back. He's lovely and tidy on it. His ball retention is really good. His passing range is excellent, but I've never seen him be as good as that off the ball. And I think it just shows that, he's got more strings to his bow, and he can go in there and do a job for us if needs be. I wouldn't particularly want that partnership to be there every single week, but from what I saw Tuesday night, I was really impressed with him. Other than that, I was more than happy with that lineup, to be honest. I just think we're so blessed as a squad at the minute. I'm never going to be too concerned with what goes out there. You look at our centre halves. We've got 4 centre halves at the minute. You could easily play alongside each other and really not be too concerned.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, started pretty well. Like I said, I was happy with the lineup. Like you said, now with the more players coming in, and how we started the season, how everyone, with the bench is, pretty fit and knows the role and knows what they're doing in that system. Like we said, how we've talked upon, we've been doing it for a while now, since even the back end of last season, really, without obviously the players that Barton properly wanted. And first half wasn't the best first half in terms of excitement, but it was a solid first half away performance. Really started well. Marcus should have probably scored through the Thomas and Aaron Collins, which was really good, a really good move. And then Sinclair sort of was off balance. And then, Charlton had a lot of possession without really doing it. Obviously, seen a lot of Charlton fans saying that they should have won the game. I don't know what game they were watching. Apart from the May chance in the second half, and maybe the one chance that sort of shot across the box in the first half and Blackett Taylor, they didn't really do much, really. A lot of the ball without doing a lot. Obviously second half was always better. Like I said on my reaction, we always do better in one half. It's never hardly a 90 minutes or 75 minutes performance. It's always either one half's really sort of poor average or getting used to it, and then other half is amazing. What did you make of the way we played in the second half? The chances we created, etc. And obviously your thoughts on the goals.
I mean, from start to finish, I know we did, but I was pretty comfortable. I didn't think we were going to concede at all. Like Charlton, as a side, I don't think Charlton are a million miles off being a good side. I don't think they're going to be a great side, but I don't think they're a million miles off being a good side. But I felt really comfortable with us defensively. I just thought that they got a lot of the ball out wide. They tried to go for that Blackett Taylor and they tried to isolate Luca Hall and get at him. But when the ball went in the box, there was no real quality to get in there. And I just never felt really that concerned that we were going to concede. Dobson's an absolute gun for them. He's he's excellent. He's probably one of the better ones at the level, to be honest. I mean, I'm not that we would do, or we got a chance of, but I'd take Dobson in a heartbeat for us. I think he's exactly what we need as far as putting volume in that area. And I thought he played well for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the way we're playing now, we're really high risk. We have to be pretty much excellent every week to make that work. Like the demands and the expectations from that coaching staff on those players, they've got no choice. They have to be excellent at worst every week, because we're so high risk from the way we play out that if we misjudge that or get that wrong at any point, we are wide open. So we've got to back ourselves to play that way every single week. And we've got to adapt to when the weather comes in and when the dark nights come in and those pitches aren't great. If that's the way we're going to stick to our guns, we're going to play. We've got, like I said, every single week at our worst, we've got to be excellent to make that work. And I thought we were good. I thought we were good at it. We were brave. We played out. And I just didn't see us conceding, to be honest. And when we did, it come from our own downfall, really. We made a bad decision in a bad area to pitch. As far as the goalkeeper, I think he'll look back on that himself. I know he's only a kid, but I think if he self-analyses that, he'll probably think I could do better there. Yeah. But it should never have got to that point anyway. But that was the only way they were going to score. Having Payne and May peel off of our centre half was the only way that was ever going to happen, because the ball going in the box was meat and drink for our centre halves. I thought Cox's handling was good. His decision making was good. But we should have been out of sight by then. We should have been well out of sight. And I think I like Marquis, and I think eventually patience is going to run out. He's had enough chances to win all of our games for us this season so far. And eventually Joey might go, do you know what? We're essentially going to, if we're going to draw games or we're going to miss these chances, we need better. And I think Saturday is a massive, massive opportunity for Marcus, who I think we're going to create a hat full of chances against Cambridge. He has to start taking his chances, else he's going to be bang under pressure. Because if that's a League One A1 centre forward, like a Charles Adebayo, Wyke, JCH, even Coburn, they go in.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at. If we're looking to add quality, move people on who don't meet the standards anymore, Marcus needs to shape up quick and start. I mean, everything about his game is great, bar his finishing at the minute. And I just think he needs to work. He needs to get a goal quick to get, people potentially off his back, because it won't take long for Joey to go, do you know what? We need another 9 and we need a better 9. And that's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. A couple more minutes and then we'll bring on Tom from Under the Abbey Pod. He's in the background. But yeah, even it's the Yambi Sims as well. Return of the Mac. Hope he kicks on now. Wayne saying Barton did the same to Luke Thomas, and look at Luke now. Exactly. Excellent player. Them Charlton fans were influenced by Holding's interview. Yeah, obviously, of course, he's going to be so, like that. Ex-Salty, ex-City. Even into James as well. Statement win this Saturday, going Cambridge 0, Gas 3. I think we could bag a striker. I think if we can bag a striker, we have a serious shot at playoffs. Yeah, it was just because Collins could have had 3 assists if Mark, obviously, I think the Vale chance where he slid in was a bit. I think Vale maybe didn't expect the ball to coming across the box, but obviously which he'll learn. But he could have had one then, and the Marquis chance where he done that little touch, threaded it through, and I know it's a good block, but Marquis still has to score that. The defender's obviously going to slide down. He has to score, really. Still great defending. But like you said, Sinclair, great for him. I think it's going to be interesting when we do our lineups, and I think with a lot of people, because now you've got Evans, who's been playing well the last 2 games. You've got Sinclair. Like you said, the Marquis thing, is Barton going to sort of run out with, the amount of chances, and then Collins plays in and Marquis goes out, who knows? But then Macca, man, buzzing for Macca. Like you said, it's been a struggle. He admitted it himself. Obviously, we know he didn't have a preseason last year. Then he got niggles. And then when we were doing well, he couldn't get many minutes, and it was always hard. But now even this season hasn't had a real pre-season again, because he played the first 2, then got injured, but he's come back. And yeah, what was it? Chest volley bang or chest volley goal, whatever it is. And it was, absolutely madness in that away end. And yeah, it was class. Sink's lob should have been. Yeah, Sink's lob as well. I think he should have took it around the keeper, but it's hard, when you're not there in that situation, it's hard. So that was close anyway. And even into Chris as well. The Gas are playing really well and seem hungry this year. Best wishes from Bucky in Scotland. So yeah, after that, amazing 3 points. And we're going to get in to Cambridge. And yeah, welcome Tom from under the Abbey Stand. Make sure, like I said at the start of the stream, that you go and check them out, subscribe to them on all the various platforms. Really, really good content. And yeah, Tom, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks very much for having me.
No worries at all. And yeah, what's obviously getting into Cambridge, you've had a good start. Obviously, you probably eyes were rolling then when some people were like, "Oh, 3-0 is this is we got to do whatever to Cambridge." But you've had a good start. 2 wins. Even the other night I watched the highlights, listening to your manager's press conference on YouTube. It's good what they do with Cambridge Rovers now. They don't really do proper interviews for pre-match games, but obviously I watched that, and yeah, by the sounds of it, you played pretty well and probably should have come out with more than a loss. Obviously you lost the game really late on after equalising. What's your thoughts on that game and your start to the season in general?
Probably pretty similar, really. It's been quite encouraging, I think. The first 3 games, the season we had last year was not the one that we wanted. Obviously stayed up kind of by the skin of our teeth, and to be really honest, like for big parts of it, we just weren't up to the right level. But particularly the first 2 games, and certainly in moments on Tuesday night against Stevenage, we actually played some really, really good football, and we've looked like at times just like a really decent team. I think on Tuesday night, like in my opinion, we were good value for a point. There are a lot of the people that I went with maybe didn't think so, but we had good possession of the ball. We kind of took all the initiative of the game and got in some really good areas, even without sort of creating clear cut chances. It was just the way that the game went. It was really frustrating. Conceded a really poor goal from a set piece to go 1-0 down, get back into the game sort of fairly late on, and then just conceded about, I think, a minute afterwards to obviously put Stevenage back ahead. But yeah, like we've looked like a pretty decent footballing team. There's not going to be loads of games where we have lots of possession of the ball. It's not really the way that we're set up to play. But yeah, for what we did, I thought we did fairly well. But to be honest with you, in the kind of important bits of the game, we got Steve Evans, and I'm sure that won't be the last time that happens to a team this season. But yeah, I mean, like you quite rightly say, it's been a good start. It's been an encouraging start. Better than I thought it would be. Better than I thought it would look. So yeah, I think we're fairly confident. But I'm sure you guys will probably be quite similar.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, it's been quite a really big turnover, because a lot of your players that were there, Meatoff, Ironside, Sam Smith, Harvey Nibbs, Lloyd Jones, George Williams, you got from us have left. Especially Nibbs and Smith, who I thought were really good. Obviously, I think Williams was pretty good for you. He wasn't the best for us. He joined us with Paul Tisdale in the COVID season, and it was sort of hard because we had such a shambolic team then. But yeah, quite a lot of players leaving. What's been your thoughts on the players you've got in? Because I'm sure you've probably seen with a lot of other creators have put Cambridge bottom, but to finish. And to be honest with you, looking at your team actually looks really good. You've got 2 experienced, no nonsense defenders in Bennett and Morrison. You've got some good young players with that as well. Obviously, you brought in the striker from Ipswich. I don't want to pronounce his name. I don't know his name pronunciation exactly. And then Kachunga as well. You've made some pretty good business. What have you made, and what players have you brought in this summer?
Yeah, it was a big turnover. Like it kind of had to be, and it was always going to be that way. There was always going to be a big emphasis on kind of upping the quality levels in the squad. Like I said, for a lot of last season, it was pretty evident that we weren't up to the right level. So a lot of the players, like Williams, for example, who you mentioned, and sort of 3 or 4 others who had played big parts in the season before that and the season before that, even in the COVID year when we actually got out of League Two. Just kind of had to be moved on. It was just like the end of a cycle, and obviously that happens. That happens particularly at the lower leagues. And then there were some players out of contract who actually are good players at this level who were sort of kind of shining parts of for long periods an underperforming team, like Sam Smith, who obviously scored a decent amount of goals for us over a couple of years, and Nibs was one that we had for a bit longer but had progressed really well. Lloyd Jones as well, a centre back who actually went on to Charlton, who you guys may have seen. Yeah. You might not have maybe seen the best of him on Tuesday, perhaps, but certainly a good player for this level. And yeah, in terms of what's come in, I think I've been quietly quite impressed. Like the trade-off for us really is like, can we sign players who are fit, firing, and probably don't have the quality that we need? So that's the people who basically left, who you can rely on for appearances, but maybe not so much for quality, with bringing people in who have got maybe a bit more pedigree, maybe got a bit more quality, who you can't rely on for like 45 games a season, even 40 or even 35 appearances. So if I look at like a Jordan Cousins, for example, who brought in central midfield player, clearly got bags of quality, playing the Championship for most of his career, but he's already injured. Like that's kind of what the trade-off is. And it's been similar with like the rest of the with kind of the rest of the signings. They've come with some sort of caveat. If you look at George Thomas, for example, who signed a new contract, he's not played a lot of football. Sully Kaikai, who's I think typically been a pretty good player at this level, but maybe not been on it for the last couple of years. Gasheads Hadme, who's the striker up front, who's maybe not playing much football, not necessarily through injury, but just by not being able to force his way into obviously what was a really good Ipswich team. But in terms of the quality levels, I think we've pretty much upgraded in every area in terms of individual quality that's kind of left the club, which is obviously what we needed. But we'll kind of see, I guess, where we are in 3, 4, 5 months' time about how that holds out. The squad already is thinner because we've had a couple of injuries in the first couple of weeks. So in terms of our ability to change things up, that's more limited. But I'm pretty confident in the first 11 that we've got that's at least good enough to stay up as it is. And that's kind of how I felt really over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks now, which is that before, like, I was a bit like, oh, like, is it going to be another year kind of similar to what it was last season? But to me, I think it's a lot more encouraging. And yeah, I think the business we've done has helped that. There will probably be 1 or 2 more to come in. Don't think they'll be here before Saturday. So perhaps not in time to face you guys, but certainly to help us through the next few months. But yeah, looks promising to me anyway. And obviously, hopefully that'll be kind of replicated or sort of shown in what we do really.
Yeah, definitely. Keep smashing the likes as well, guys. If you've got any questions for Tom as well, then make sure you send them in. Yeah, keep subscribing, liking as well. Neil, have you got any questions and thoughts to Tom on Cambridge?
I mean, I think you've touched on one as far as Cambridge always being, written off pretty much every League One season, just that people make them finish in the relegation zone and backing for the drop season after season. Do you think that plays into your hands, Tom? Really, is what you expect as far as a fan base's expectations of, you think you're gonna, if you got offered sort of 5th bottom, you take it?
Yeah, I think we probably would, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, we expect that people are going to predict us to be in and around the bottom 4 and probably towards the bottom end of the bottom 4 as well. And that's fair enough. Like, I think in terms of budget and all this other stuff that goes along with it, it's a completely fair prediction. We're not like a big hitter in this league at all. It's not to say that we're like one of the smallest clubs in the league, because clearly we're competing with teams like Fleetwood, who we went to, and Burton's, for example, who maybe traditionally we have more Football League history than, but that obviously counts for very little when actually push comes to shove. I think it does play into our favour in a way, because it's something that Mark Bonner's been really good at in the last couple of years, is just basically building a kind of environment within the club that just kind of believes in itself more than anything. Even in League Two, before we got promoted, like, we weren't fancied in that league in that year to do well. Obviously, it was a strange year with obviously everything surrounding the pandemic and behind closed doors and all that sort of stuff. But we defied expectations then. We massively defied expectations in our first season back. We were comfortable as anything, probably from about just after Christmas, probably going into February. We knew we weren't going to go down, and obviously last season we came back from a situation which wasn't looking good to one which was pretty spectacular. And obviously this year we would hope for a calmer year, of course. But yeah, I mean, if you offered us survival now, we would take it. Despite the fact that we're obviously, it's early days for the league table, but we're I think we're fifth now. We're well aware that that's probably not going to be the case at the end of the season, of course. But I think we're, like, as a fan base, we are pretty well aware of our place in this division. We're not getting delusions of grandeur that we're going to be kind of in and around the top six. It's just not what we have the resources to be able to do. But I think for what we expect and what we want to see, I think we've been pretty happy really over the last few years. And if we can get another season like that, that's just a case of developing the club really, and hopefully developing the ground and kind of all these sorts of things that maybe mean that you can have more resources and then you can have a bit of a push towards the top end. But that's years away now. For us, it's just about surviving and hopefully having a bit of a laugh along the way at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously getting on to, the previous meetings, obviously last season, I actually missed our first home game. I was away on holiday, but I think that was Coburn's, when we had Coburn's first game for us. And I think it's quite a close game, winning 2-1. Obviously we beat you 2-1 at your place last year as well. Obviously I think you went 1-0 up through Sam Smith, I think. And then we played pretty well after that for majority until, I'd say, the 55th minute. I think Sinclair and Coburn scored for us that day. But second half, you was all over us pretty much. If I'm thinking, we couldn't really get out of our half. And even both of them games, although you struggled last season and you survived by the skin of your teeth, you actually, you were up there with one of the better teams really, that in the way of sort of how you play, you were pretty solid against us, didn't give away many chances, and you managed to win both games, but only by a goal. What's your thoughts on Rovers this season? I don't know if you've seen much of our business, etc., but on the the base of, obviously last season was obviously like chalk and cheese. First month we're always poor. Then we done really well, 8th in, I think after we beat you and Charlton, we were 8th in January. Then obviously second half was frustrating for a fan point of view, but with the squad, etc. But now we're looking pretty good. What's your thoughts on Rovers?
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as I've been going, Bristol Rovers have been an absolute nightmare for us. We've definitely lost our last 5 or 6 games against you guys, so it just kind of instills fear in me, I think, every time we play against Bristol Rovers. I don't know how much of that is to do with the business you've done in the summer, and maybe more of it's just scarring from years gone by. But I think, do you know what? I think if there's going to be a year where Bristol Rovers could push on towards the sort of top end of the league, it's going to be this season, because I think it's wide open at the top. I think you've maybe got 1 or 2 who will probably prove to be better than the rest over the course of the season. But then there's probably about 10 teams that would all be thinking, with the right luck in terms of keeping players fit, and maybe can we bring 1 or 2 in January, and maybe others maybe not performing so well. Like, can we kind of get into the top 6? I think Bristol Rovers are certainly in that conversation. I was looking through the sort of lineups that you guys have had so far this season. There's certainly quality in there. Obviously Collins, you don't really need to talk about. It's obvious he's the player of the year last season, and rightly so. And I'm surprised he's still there now, of course. But he'll also be massive. I think Scott Sinclair's clearly a player with quality that's probably belongs above this level. Maybe career's not gone exactly how he'd have liked it to after it started so promisingly. But yeah, I think I wouldn't necessarily, in my own opinion, have Bristol Rovers as favourites to get in the top 6. But I guess if everything goes well, that's probably where you could end up. But yeah, I mean, there's still a long way to go. But I think in terms of like the immediate future and Saturday, for me, it's a really tough game. It's a really tough test for us. And I think, started really well. And to be fair, against some of the better teams in the league, I think you could make a decent argument that you've already played 3 of the top 6 and come out of that pretty well. So that's got to be encouraging, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think for us, I've already put us to finish 6th. I can't remember where Neil's put us. Where did you reckon, Neil? Like mid-table?
I said I think 8th at best. I think it's when I was looking at it, I think we'll just. I just don't think. I never thought at the start of the season that we'd sort of breach that top 6 with the clubs that are in there. But you look at how Derby has started, and I had Derby to win it. So,
yeah, I mean, I had Bolton. I had Bolton to win it. They've had a bloody good start, haven't they? Nine goals scored. I think they could, depending on injuries, I think they could run away with it the way Derby. I know Derby have started slow, but I really do like Bolton. I think they're the best. They play the best football. You know, they've got a great manager. You know, and you know they'll get a lot of fans. And you got Charles and Adebayo, etc. up front. Then but yeah, confident. Obviously, the way we started. Getting on to sort of your obviously we'll do the predictions in around 5-10 minutes. But what's your sort of style of play under Mark Bonner? Has it changed much since last season?
I don't think like the general game plan has really changed a lot since we've been in League One. It's obviously developed a little bit, and sort of bits and pieces have progressed. But I think the general theme of it is that we tend not to have too much of the ball, and our best performances and our best results have come when we've used the time that we do have on the ball well, but fundamentally defended really well and used our kind of structure out of possession to basically win us games. And that won't be any different this season. I don't think the first two games that we had, the win against Oxford and the win and the win away at Fleetwood, they're kind of case in point of that. Like I think in both those games we had probably an average of about 30% possession. Yet we come out those games winning both of them 2-0, and that's just because we do our bit firstly, which is taking the chances that we create, and we've created more chances this season than we did probably in most games last season. And then because we have such strength at the back, and particularly in terms of Ryan Bennett and Michael Morrison, our structure basically allows us to just kind of sit in and hopefully hold on to it. And that's kind of what it'll be, I think, on Saturday. I think I guess the bookies will probably have Bristol Rovers as favourites for it, and that probably suits us a little bit. And I think the difficulty that we had on Tuesday night was that Stevenage kind of came and done exactly the same as what we like to do to other teams, which is fundamentally allow them to have the ball. And once you get ahead, it's just a case of can the other team break you down? And for us this season, the answer to that has normally been no. Other teams can't break us down. But the difference on Tuesday was we were the ones chasing the game. So that's obviously a completely different challenge. But yeah, I think we'll set up in a similar sort of way. It will probably be looked on as quite defensive. We'll use our shape to try and win the game, and fingers crossed at the other end of the pitch we can create one or two decent chances. We made some good openings on Tuesday night. If we can progress that into clear-cut opportunities, then maybe we'll get something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I do think it's going to be a tough game. You've had a really good start. I like your signings. I don't know. I still feel like an idiot now. I know it's early on in the season because I'm pretty sure you did start well last season, didn't you? But then sort of had a poor season for quite a while until you brought in. I think you brought in Bennett late on, didn't you? In January, and you brought in some other players, and you recalled that. Is it Bennett, the young nippy right back who had that loan spell? He's definitely one to watch because he's great at defending and he's really good going forward from what I've seen last season when we played you at the Abbey. And yeah, obviously Matt saying obviously Stevenage have had a very good start, as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Of course, keep letting us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said, go and give Tom a follow on at the Abbey Pod on Twitter, and obviously make sure to check them out. We'll start with you, Neil, getting into our lineups. Obviously, Tom can, let us know his in a minute and just have a think of what you would do. Obviously not the manager, but let us know what team you would prefer. And if you haven't already, download FanHub. I've got a code going down the bottom of the screen. You'll see it, a new code I've got. So download that, use the code, and you can predict lineups, get 3 points, checking at grounds, etc. But Neil, what are you going for? And obviously Rovers fans, and if there is any Cambridge fans watching as well, live or after the replay, then let us know your predictions as well and lineups. But yeah, Neil, what are you going for Saturday?
I think system-wise, we'll match them up. I think Cambridge will match us up as far as how we play as a system. I don't think it will differ too much to what we did against Charlton. Without sounding disrespectful on like a bigger club, belter. I just think we're going to be deemed player for player better than Cambridge. We're going to be deemed player for player better than we should go and implement our game on Cambridge. Sorry, I just think it's a completely different project to what we've had so far this season, where we're going to be going to a side where we're expected to have the majority of the ball and go and essentially go and win a game comfortably. That's like Tom said, the bookies would have it. But I think it's going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, I think, Saturday, where we will have plenty of the ball. But I think Cambridge I think their blueprint will be Oxford, where a nice, tidy team where they can try and not press too high because they get played round quickly. If they did, they'll sort of press in. Their trigger to press will be sort of the halfway line, and they'll go to pinch it there to go and spring an attack off the back of something loose or isolating a fullback to try and hound a fullback out of giving the ball away. I think these sort of games where you go into a side where you're expected to win, you've got to sort of break their heart early, where you've got to get in front and then just gradually take their will away from them by either scoring another one or keeping the ball off them. And a bit like what we did last year at their place, we didn't do that. We give them a leg up and they thrived off it, to be honest. And then we got ourselves back into the game and we had our foot on the throat and we didn't do anything about it, and we let them back into it and we got away with one, really. I think Saturday will be it'll be close. I think it'll be dogged. Like I said, I think a bit of an arm wrestle. I don't think Cambridge will try and make it a 15-minute game, to be honest. They'll try and stay in it as long as they can and then roll the dice about 15 minutes to go in an ideal world if they can make that happen. I think lineup-wise, I'd go with Cox and Goal. I don't think I'd change anything bar. I'd take Sinclair out and put I'd take Sinclair out and I'd put Finley back in the screen with Ward. And Marquis I think we'll create a hatful of chances, and Marquis has to score Saturday. He has to. He will be gifted opportunities. He will get opportunities Saturday, and he has to score one of them. And I think if you look at us at the minute, as far as the squad, that's going to leave us with sort of like potentially Hall on the bench with Wilson or Beefy, Macca, Grant, Sinclair, Loft, Brown, and then what you're missing out is potentially either Wilson and Beefy, Rossiter yet to come back. That in my squad, Vale doesn't make the bench on Saturday, and you've still got Friends and Gibbons to come in. Do you know what I mean? Our squad's stacked with players that could sit on that bench who aren't even going to make that squad.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you would only make the one change, basically Finley coming back in and then Evans going back in behind the striker.
I just think it's going to be a steely game. I think there's going to be a lot of scrapping. I think it is going to be a bit of an arm wrestle. I think we need Finley back in there, to be honest, to deal with that. I wouldn't take Evans out. I think when Evans is hot, you've got to leave him in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree, actually. I'd go with that. Cox in goal, Luca Hall, Cramer, Connor Taylor, Lewis Gordon, Finley, like you said, in the screen with Grant Ward, Evans in behind Marquis. Like you said, he should have had 4 or 5 goals. Should have had a hat-trick at least against Barnsley. Should have and could have had 2 against Charlton. And yeah, he's got to score. Fingers crossed he can. And then, Luke Thomas on the right, Collins on the left, and Marquis Evans. So I agree. I would, even though Sinclair's been really good, I'd love him to start. But I just think you can, like you said, the game by come the end, if we got Sinclair, Vale, Macca, Loft, etc., Giovanni Brown on the bench, and there's plenty of game changers there anyway. So yeah, I'd only make the one change as well, and I agree with Neil. Mats has gone. Cox, Hall, Taylor, Cramer, Gordon, Ward, Finley, Sinclair, Evans, Collins, and Marquis. Interesting. No Thomas in that team. Sinclair and Thomas is 50-50. I think you've got to play Thomas. Would you start? That's another one quickly I want to get your thoughts on, Neil. I know we've got Tom on here and we get his prediction. What's your thoughts on Rovers? And it's even come out, obviously, in Bristol Live today, that ex-Bristol City and Sheffield Wednesday right back, who is now a free agent, is linked with Rovers. What's your thoughts on him? With over 490 appearances, 284 of them in the Championship, 32 years old. What's your thoughts on him coming in and being on a free transfer?
I really like it, to be honest, because I think it allows itself to. It's another one that allows us to come in and play the way we want to play. And I think Gibbo will get moved on, to be honest, because he can. I know he's versatile and he can play fullback, he can play left or right, but he's not what you deem a modern fullback. He won't play out for us, and I think that how high risk we are with the ball at the minute. I think Hull will always be someone who is going to play and progress, but I think in and around the place, as far as another winner, played at a high level, 30 plus that Joey likes, senior pro, been there, done it, played for big clubs, got promotion. I think it'd be good for us, to be honest. And he can play, he can do what we want him to do as far as implement the way we play. He can get it, he'll be calm, he can play out. And I think he's going to allow us to play a 5 as well, because he could go in at wing back if he needs to, the way he plays. So I think it's a good move, but I think what it does mean is I think you'll see Gibbo moved on, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it'd be a great signing. Hopefully, it can happen. Like you said, he's better off as a wing back because he's more attacking. He's still a decent defender, but I've seen a lot of what's that? Rovers announcing a signing right now on Twitter. Are they actually, or is that just trying to make us happy? But I don't know. Let us know if it is true. But what's your thoughts, Tom? What team would you play in for Saturday for Cambridge?
I think it'll be much the same as it has been for the first 2 games. Really, it'll be the same. Well, barring any real surprises, it'll be the same setup in terms of we'll go 4-2-3-1. Be Jack Stevens in goal, who we signed from Oxford in the summer. Be Liam Bennett right back, Michael Morrison and Ryan Bennett centre backs. Maybe a slight question mark at left back, whether we'll stick with Danny Andrew, who came in from Fleetwood, or Harrison Dunk, who ended last season really well. I think it'll probably be Andrew at left back. In the middle, I think it'll probably be Paul Digby and George Thomas, who started the season really well. James Brophy on the right, Lancaster just in the hole, just sitting behind the striker. Saika Jana got injured. He'd been playing really well off the left this season, so someone will come in for him.
Ex Bristol City player as well. Got injured. Yeah, he's looked good for you as well.
Yeah, he's been really good, to be fair, the start of this season. But he won't be available on Saturday off the next few weeks. So that'll be either Sully Kai, that is, or Kachunga, I think, coming in for him. And then I should think it'll be Gassan Hadmay out top.
Yeah, sounds a strong team. And yeah, by the way, it is true. And it is, I've shown it, it is Jack Hunt. Even in Gasheads, there's Jack from the Titanic. And he's signing. What a signing, mate. On a free. I didn't think they'd do it that quickly, but yeah, they're going to announce it very soon. So yeah, Jack Hunt coming in on a free. Can't really go wrong. Get on to score predictions. Neil, what are you going for Saturday?
Yeah, I think some people think the way we've played against, the big hitters so far this season, I think there'll be a few fans who think we'll go to Cambridge and blow them away 3 or 4, but I don't see it like that, to be honest. I think it'll be a right arm wrestle, and they'll make it as difficult as they can and look to stay in the game as long as they can to roll the dice come the end. But I think given what we've seen so far, the way we're implementing our football, I know it's a completely different opposition to what we've played against so far, and it's going to be a bit more dogged and difficult. I'd say 2-0. I'd like to think 2-0. I think we're going to create a hatful of chances like we have done already this season. And I just think we'll take 1 or 2 of them. I just think we will. I mean, like I said, the bookies will have us down to win anyway. I don't think it will be as clear cut. I don't think it will be as pretty and as wonderful as what some things think it will make. They'll make out we'll go there with a cigar on and win easy. But I think if we go about things and do things right and we play our game, we do things properly and professionally, and we play high risk football well that we've been doing recently, I think we could 2-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2-0. Goal scorers.
More want than know how. I just want Marcus and Collins to get off the mark. You always want your front men to score goals, and I just want them to get going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Getting on to your prediction, Tom. Are you confident you can get back to winning ways with us coming there, or are you slightly nervy?
Yeah, nervy a little bit, I think. It feels like a defeat and it's proper like wheels coming off territory, even at this early stage. No, I think I've been pretty encouraged by what I've seen so far. I would back us to be able to take something from the game. Not certain, but I think we have the quality in there to be able to get something from the game. I think, realistically for us, it's very much a sort of take a point sort of game, which I think we'd all be fairly happy with, and then move on. So yeah, I'll go with that. I think we'll be able to nick a point out of it. Probably go 1-1.
Mm-hmm. What goal scores are you going for Cambridge and for Rovers?
Probably Gasheads May for us. He's been the main man so far. And for Bristol Rovers, I'm gonna guess Aaron Collins. He's the best player in the league last season. I guess he'll probably be a threat. Yeah.
Hopefully he can get his first goal. And yeah, by the way, Jack Hunt has just signed. They've just done the video, so I'll be doing a video out on that in a minute once we finish this. But yeah, for me, I think I agree with Neil. I think it'll be tough like last season. Last season we only just edged past you. At your place, I think it'd be tough. You've had a good attendance so far as well to start the season. Really high. Fans are pretty positive. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna say 2-1 as well. I agree with Neil. I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think Jack Lancaster will get the goal for Cambridge. And I think I'll just say Marquis and Collins as well. I want them both to score as well. So I'll say 2-1 as well. Agree with the same team and the same prediction that Neil has said as well. But yeah, pretty much going to end it here. We've covered everything. If you haven't, or if you've only just joined, then after in about half an hour, 40 minutes, I'll go and put the timestamps in on YouTube, so you can, if you don't want to watch all of it, if you've missed certain parts, you can go and click on that. But yeah, I want to say thanks to Neil as always for coming on, and also thanks to Tom for coming on as well. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. All the best after this game, and of course the other time we play you as well at the Mem. But yes, been really good. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in on Facebook and on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, then please do hit the like button as well. Matt's is saying 2-0. I think a lot of people. Obviously, James said earlier 3-0, but yeah, I like me and Neil said, I think it'd be tight 2-1. But like I said, go and subscribe to the Abbey Stand. Go and follow them on Twitter as well, on Instagram, and yeah, check out their podcasts. They're on all podcast platforms. Really, really good content. And yeah, like I said, thanks to you both for coming on, and thanks to everyone for watching. But yeah, I'll do the video out in like 10-15 minutes on Hunt as well. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget video out